Hello and welcome to Monday's Yoga Club. Your practice is at your own risk. Do pay attention to how you feel today and just take the right choices for how your body is doing. Feeling free to miss things out or take lighter options if that's what you need today. We're going to start the class standing up, so if you want to bring yourself to standing. So come to standing and just making sure, we're going to take a leg kick in a moment, so make sure you've got room to take your legs out behind you and bringing them out in front of you as well. Let me just lift this up a little more. And then once you're sure you've got your space, then close your eyes, have your feet hip distance apart. And with your eyes closed, just be aware of your body standing here, feet against the ground. And then we'll just make some adjustments here to turn this into a good strong standing posture. So first of all, just taking your shoulders up and back and down. Lifting the crown of your head a little up towards the ceiling, pressing your feet firmly down. And then a little tilt of your chest up towards the ceiling. So just tilting your rib cage up. So feeling how through those moves your body just becomes active and you properly hold yourself in the space. Then keep that strength in the body, keep that activeness in the body, and open your eyes. Taking your weight over to the right foot, and then really pressing that right leg firmly into the ground as you then lift your left foot off the ground. So your right foot is firmly anchoring you downwards, and when you're ready, starting then to pendulum your foot backwards and forwards. But as you do that, first of all, think about the height and speed in terms of your balance, but also in terms of keeping your right leg firmly planted into the ground, strong and straight, as your left leg then moves backwards and forwards. Maybe bringing your hands into play as well, so you're getting a good stretch at your shoulders. As always, not a bad thing to do before going out for a run or a ride. And then if you wanted to exaggerate this a little more, you could lean back a little on the leg lift, lean forward a little on the leg lift behind you. Bit more challenging on the balance. Still keeping the right leg strongly pressing down into the ground. And then slowing that down, landing your left foot down, and then re-find the strong standing posture. So shoulders up and back and down, chest lifting, feet pressing down, crown of your head lifting. Weight over to your left side, picking up your right foot, left leg firmly grounding down, and then starting to pendulum the right leg. Starting slow and low. So you're testing your balance at this stage, just working out what is that point when you start to lose the balance in terms of height and speed. Then bringing your arms into play. And if you want, you can take a bit of a hip lean forward as your leg goes back, and lean back as your leg lifts forward, if your balance enjoys that. So fine to wobble a bit, but as much as you can, keeping some semblance of control. Then slowing that down, landing your right foot down, and maybe just taking a shake of your left, and maybe a rotate of your ankle as well, because that can be quite strong on the ankle. Bringing yourself then to the top of your mat, ready for some salutations. So again, Maybe notice for a moment what it's like when you just let everything relax. But then taking that to the strong standing posture, shoulders back, chest lifts, feet pressed down, crown of your head lifts. We'll take 2 breaths before we begin. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, palms pressed together at the centre of your chest, lifting your elbows. Then reaching your arms up to the ceiling. Just hold there, just pressing your arms straight up at first. And then I want you to imagine that just at the bottom of your ribs at the back is a horizontal bar that's just touching the back, the middle of your back, just at the bottom of the back ribs. And so imagining that that bar's in place, then let your arms lift a little higher and then tilt your rib cage up to the ceiling, taking your upper body a little bit up and over that bar. So in order to do that, your abdomen's got to ease forward a little, your lower back's got to ease forward. Then from your hips, stretch and reach forward and down, letting your arms keep lifting for as long as you can so they decelerate you. And then bend your knees, relax your upper body, fingertips touching the mat. Right leg all the way back. Lift your gaze, hips relax. Stretch your right heel away so your right knee lifts. Allowing your hips to relax and stretching your collarbones forward. So you're maximising the distance from heel to collarbones. Taking your left foot back, finding down face dog. So hips lift, heels press down, hands push down into the mat. Pressing your hands forward to allow your chest to ease back to your knees. Look between your hands. Bring your right foot through. Oh no, stay where you are. You all stay where you are. Hips lifting and then bring yourself forward to plank. Looking between your hands in plank. Knees lift, navel to spine, heels press away. From here, lower your knees and then bring your chest to the mat. Touch down with your chin or with your forehead if it easily reaches. Press yourself forward, lifting your face and your chest, shoulder blades easing back, elbows coming in close. Toes tuck under, lifting your hips, maybe taking them back to your heels or lifting them directly up to down face dog. Hips lift, heels press down, hands press down, taking your chest back. And then we'll take our calf stretches. So bending your right knee, and on your next exhale, press your left heel firmly to the ground, stretching out the left calf. Next inhale, swap that over, so bend your left knee, and as you exhale, press your right heel firmly to the ground. We'll take 2 more of those on each side. So inhale, swapping over, exhale, left heel to the ground. Inhale, swap, exhale, right heel. Inhale, swap, exhale, a really firm final press down of your left heel to the ground. Inhaling, swap, firm press down of the right heel. Pressing your left heel down. If you've got the energy, reset your dog, lift your hips, press your hands forward and down. Looking between your hands, bring your right foot through. Lift your gaze there, stretch your left heel behind you. Left foot through, forward fold, everything relaxing over your legs. Then lead up with your arms, lifting them up. They'll bring the rest of your body up. Stretching up and over that bar. And hands come down. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressed together. Stretch and reach your arms up and back, allowing that bar to keep your lower body vertical, your upper body reaching up and back. From your hips, stretching forward and down. Hips, fingertips touch the mat, neck muscles relax, head hangs heavy. Left foot back. Lifting your gaze in lunge. Stretch your left heel away. Ease your hips forward to the front edge of your mat. Take your right foot back, down face dog. Hips lifting, heels down, hands down, guiding your chest towards your knees, sending the back of your thighs to the wall that's behind you. Come forward to plank, looking between your hands, shoulder blades ease back, heels head back to the wall. If you're feeling strong, take your elbows back and come down in one straight line, or knees then chest. Once you've touched down, relax for a moment and lift your face and lift your chest. Shoulder blades ease back, elbows head to the wall behind, chest eases forward. Tucking your toes, lifting your hips to down face dog. Hands push away from you, allowing your shoulders to ease back. Hips lift on high, maybe tilting your tailbone to the ceiling, taking the back of your thighs to the wall behind you, making sure your heels are pressing down. Look between your hands, bring your left foot through. Hips relax in your lunge, gaze lifts. Right knee lifting away from the mat. Right foot springs through, relaxing in your forward fold for a moment. Leading up with your arms, reaching and stretching up, tilting your rib cage to the ceiling, and hands come down. Inhale, exhale. So we'll take one more round, flowing this time with the breath. Crown of your head lifting, shoulder blades relaxing. Inhale, exhale, palms pressed together. Inhale, reaching and stretching up and back, remembering that bar that you're arching up over. Exhale, reaching forward and down. Inhale, right leg back, hips relax. Exhale, left foot back. Now hips lift on high as your heels press down. Inhale, forward to plank, looking between your hands. Exhale, lowering down in the way of your choosing. One straight line or knees, then chest. Inhale, face and chest lifts, shoulder blades ease back. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift, hands push forward into down face dog. Inhale, right foot between your hands, lifting your gaze. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold. Inhale, reaching and stretching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, final side. Exhale, palms together. Inhale as you reach and stretch up and back. Exhale, forward and down. Crown of your head points to the floor. Inhale, left leg back. Lift your gaze. Exhale, right foot back. Heels press down, hands press down. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhaling as you lower. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift, hands press down, heels press down. Inhale, left foot through. Final lunge, lift your gaze, press your right heels back. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold. Inhale, reaching and stretching up and back with your arms. So remembering that bar at the base of your rib cage, holding your lower body forward as your upper body arches back and hands come down. Taking your feet apart, palms face forward for a couple of breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Then coming to lie on your mat. And we're going to use a belt to take a leg stretch. So if you've got a belt to hand, doesn't have to be a yoga belt, it can be anything that allows you to hold your leg as you lift it. Then lying down, good Shavasana, so feet out to the corners, hands, palms turned up, a little bit away from your body. Relaxing, releasing, letting go. So although you're letting go, you're giving your mind something to occupy it. That could be having an awareness of your breath. Could be just noticing how your body is connecting to the ground right at this moment. Bending your knees, bringing your feet in towards you. Feet are hip distance apart. Picking up your right foot, looping the belt around the ball of your right foot, stretching your right leg out along the ground. So this is a stretch that we do very often, and we do it a lot because it is such a good stretch for the hamstrings. It allows you to have a fantastic amount of control, but it's a stretch that's really easy to become complacent with and lose the focus on. So today I want to really keep the focus and tune the stretch to your exact hamstring needs. So make sure your arms are long, so your arms are straight as they hold a belt loop in each hand. Flex your right foot so your toes are drawing towards you and your knees pressing down. Relax your shoulders. On your next inhale, lift that straight leg up towards the ceiling, keeping it ramrod straight, as straight as you can make it. And that means you're only bringing it up as high as it's willing to go whilst it's straight. Then adjust your grip on your belt so your arms stay straight and your hands are as close to your foot as you can reach. Still relaxing your shoulders. And then easing that leg back to the first biting point. So really be aware of your leg and how it's feeling. Now as you bring that up to its biting point, you might start to get a pain in the lower back, in which case take a little bend of that knee. Also, if you hyperextend or if it's uncomfortable for the knee, take a little bend. Then with the leg as straight as you can make it and as high as you can take it, at its biting point, start to find more using the breath. Every inhale, you're easing that leg back. So being aware of how that feels, taking it to that biting point, not too strong, but not too light. And as you exhale, relaxing your upper body. So feeling your shoulders relax down to the ground. And then take that with every breath. Getting a couple of millimeters of movement each time you inhale. Taking one more breath there. Then passing both belt loops to the right hand, stretching your arm up so you're holding close to your foot. Extending your left arm out along the ground at shoulder height. Sending your left knee out to the left and being aware of your left hip on the ground. You want to keep that in contact. You're going to, as you next exhale, slowly let your leg head out to the right, but as it heads out to the right, don't let it go any closer to the bottom of your mat. So you want to keep it at the level where it is right now. Now that might mean it doesn't come as close to the ground as you can take it if you let it go closer to the bottom of your mat, but that's fine. Just let it come to wherever it will come. Pressing your left knee down in the other direction, so you're taking that right leg down until the point where your left hip is starting to lift off. Taking your elbow onto the ground and just suspending your leg there, allowing its own weight to stretch the inside of that right leg, pressing your left knee down to the ground to stretch out the inside of the left leg. And then take a couple of breaths there. Just relax. The more you relax, the more that right leg will be able to ease out to the side. As you next inhale, bring your right leg back to the center, reaching up, taking a belt loop in each hand. Have all your awareness on that leg as you ease it back to its final biting point, getting the maximum possible stretch, but without causing pain. Then release that leg. Let that foot come back down. Just stretch both legs out for a moment. Take a couple of breaths. So again, have that awareness within your body still. So being aware of the right versus the left leg, having stretched the right leg. Bending both knees, bringing both feet in towards you, picking up the left foot, looping the belt around it and stretching it out, holding a belt loop in each hand so that your arms are straight. Flex the left foot so you're drawing your toes towards you, press your left knee firmly down. That straightens the leg. Keep it with that level of straightness as you inhale and lift it up towards the ceiling. Once it's lifted, reach your hands up, holding a belt loop in each hand. Ease that leg up to the biting point, discomfort, not pain. At that point, check in if you're feeling discomfort in your lower back, then take a little bend of that knee. Otherwise, keep it straight. And then use your breath. Every inhale, ease the leg back till you get that strength of stretch in your hamstring. As you exhale, relax your upper body. As you relax your shoulders, you'll feel the belt pull a little more firmly onto your foot. Little tiny steps, increasing the length and strength of stretch. Taking both belt loops in the left hand, stretching the right arm out at shoulder height. Allow your right knee to drop out to the side. Keeping your right hip in contact, slowly take your left leg out to the left, letting the belt slip through your fingers, bending your elbow, keeping your leg from going any closer to the bottom of the mat. Once it's come to where it easily comes to, then just holding it there, allowing the weight of the leg to stretch the inside of the leg, relaxing your body as much as possible, taking your right knee a little more out to the right. And again, really noticing where that stretch happens in your leg. One more breath, relaxing on the exhale. Will it go a little lower on that exhale? Next inhale, bring the leg back up to the center. Reach your hands up, belt loop in each hand, arms straight. Take your leg back to its biting point. And then release. Unloop the belt. Let your left leg come down, placing your belt over to one side. Let your feet relax apart, turning your palms to face up. Taking a few breaths there. Bringing your feet together, taking your arms up overhead, interlacing your fingers if that's comfortable for your shoulders, and stretching out long. Toes press forward, arms stretching backwards. Feeling a stretch all through the top of your body, particularly at your ankles, particularly over your abdomen, particularly in your armpits. And then release. Hands come over by your side, coming up to sitting and sitting up to standing. ITB stretches. So coming to stand, feet hip distance apart. Let me bring my head into view. Taking a right foot over, I immediately said one thing and did the other. So taking right foot over across left. As you look down, bringing your toes as much into line as you can. Bringing your right hand onto your right hip. And just turning your torso and your navel a little bit to the right. So this is one to have awareness, because there's some adjustments we can make to make sure that you are stretching the ITB. So as you next exhale, take a tilt over to the right. So it's as if the right elbow is quite heavy. You'll start to feel something going on down the left side. Maybe pressing your hips out to the left a little more. And then relaxing to the right, and maybe just seeing if adjusting your shoulder position makes any difference to the stretch down the outside of your leg. So you might find if you take one shoulder forward and the other back, only very small movements, that strengthens the stretch. But you might want to try it both ways, just to see which allows you stretch. And it's about, you can get a good stretch down the front of that hip, but it is down the outside that you want to feel it. Keeping the back foot pressing firmly down, the front foot's just kind of relaxing on the ground. We'll take 3 with our breath. So as you inhale, bring that back up. As you exhale, tilt to the right. Inhaling, press your hips more leftwards, and exhaling, relax down rightwards. Inhale, back up. Exhale as you tilt right. Inhale, send your hips over to the left. Exhale, relaxing right. One more, inhale, lift. Exhale, tilt right. Inhale, send your hips to the left, that back foot still pressing firmly down. Exhale, inhale, left hip more to the left. Then inhale, lifting yourself back up. Uncrossing your legs. Maybe having a little shake of that left leg. And crossing your right foot over the left foot over the right. This is why it goes wrong, isn't it? At least I'm noticing this time. So check looking down, toes are roughly in line. Bringing your left hand onto your left hip. Maybe just bringing yourself twisting a little to the left to bring yourself in line. As you next exhale, tilt over to the left. Once you've got some tilt going, press your hips out to the right, relax left, and then just see if that shoulder adjustment, only small movement, helps you to intensify the stretch down the outside of the right hip. Then we'll take it with the breath. As you inhale, coming back up. As you exhale, tilting left. Inhale, press your hips out to the right. Exhale, relax left more. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, tilt left. Inhale, press your hips right. Exhale, relax left a little more. Inhale, back up. Exhale, tilt left. Inhale, hips right. Exhale, final relax to the left. This should be your strongest stretch down the left leg. Right leg. Inhale, coming back up. Uncrossing your legs, feet hip distance, hands on hips, and then have a rotate of your hips. Take that rotation in the other direction. And come to a halt in the center. Come to lying down then on your mat. And then once you're lying down, just take a moment there, let your feet relax apart, palms turn up, and have a breath or two. Noticing any residual sensations or noise in your body from what we've just been doing. So a week or so ago, I talked about how there's quite a few ways to stretch the hips. There's pigeon, there's eye of the needle, and a number of other things that we have done. And I said it was worth knowing which one's your favourite so that you can use that stretch after a run or a ride and keep your hips stretched and able to move. So this is another stretch that you can do. We've done it once before to allow you to get a stretch of your hips. So see what you think of this one. See how you find it. Maybe it's one to add to your repertoire. To prepare, bend your knees, bringing your feet in towards you, feet hip distance apart. Pick up your left foot and cross your left leg over the right. Now you want to have your legs as firmly crossed as you can. So Jim, it's not your ankle against the other knee, it's the whole knee. So you're really making that as snug and tight so that there's little room between your legs where they cross as you can muster. Then you can lift your right foot, so you're lifting your legs up towards you, and lift your head and chest up towards your legs. That allows you to then reach around and see what you can take with each hand. So you want to take your right leg in your left hand, your left leg in your right hand. Now if you could reach, you could take your hold of your foot in each hand. If that's not accessible, you could take your ankles. If that's not easy, you could take your shins. So remembering it's the opposite hand, it's the opposite foot with the opposite hand. Once you've got a hold, so that you're holding, so Barry, are you able to take your left leg, your right leg out a little bit, so your legs are kind of coming out to the sides a little? Yes, that's it. So once you've got that grip, then take your head back down to the ground, and you'll maybe need to let your legs lift as you do that, and you might also need to adjust the grip so you hold a bit nearer to your knee. Then once your head's back on the ground, let your feet relax down towards the ground again. Taking just a quick moment there, and then here comes the stretch. To allow the stretch to happen, first of all, lift your feet away from the ground a little, so your shins are coming close to vertical. And then start to draw your legs in towards you. So you're pulling both legs in towards you, and you should start to feel the stretch developing in your left hip as you bring your feet in. As well as drawing them in towards you, you can take them out to the side. So it's as if you're pulling your feet apart, relaxing your shoulders, feeling that stretch inside the left hip. And then just continuing with your breath. As you inhale, see if you can draw your legs in towards you. See if you can take them apart a little more. And as you exhale, just relax your body, especially your shoulders. Taking one more breath. And then release your legs, uncross them, landing your feet back down. Taking a moment there. Crossing your right leg over your left. Again, get them nice and close so that they're as tight as you can make them. Picking up your right foot, so you're lifting your knees towards you. Maybe just taking your feet out to the side a little bit, so your right foot confusingly is going to the left, your left foot is going to the right. So both feet are off the ground. That's it. Then lifting your chest and reaching for your feet, or your ankles, or your shins. Being as close towards your ankles as you can be. Then taking your head back down. Your feet will probably need to lift to let your head come back down. But once your head has landed, then let your legs relax so that your heels come back down towards the ground. Just take a second there. And then bringing on the stretch by lifting your heels so that your shins become parallel with the ceiling. Drawing your legs in towards you, so you're using your arm stretch to pull them in close, and maybe stretching your hands apart as well so that you're taking your feet away from each other. That should then give you that stretch in your right hip. Just making that as strong as is okay for you, and using your breath so that as you inhale, you draw your feet in closer, taking them a little more apart, and as you exhale, you relax your upper body, especially your shoulders. Then releasing your legs, letting your feet come back down to the ground, stretching your legs out, letting your feet relax apart, And maybe just taking a rock of your hips, so rocking your hips side to side. And then bringing that to a halt. Bringing your feet together, taking your arms up overhead for another stretch long. This time press your heels away and draw your toes towards you as your arms stretch above your head. Stretch a little longer and then release. Bring your hands by your side and come up to sitting. So I'm not sure how many people that's going to be their favourite hip opener that they're going to be adding into their repertoire, but it's another way of stretching the hips. So we're going to take Ustrasana for our back bend today. So that's camel pose. So to prepare for camel, come to standing on your knees with your knees hip distance apart and your toes tucked under. So camel's a strong back bend. Just be tuning into your back and taking it as far as your back's comfortable to go. So bring your hands onto your hips. And then we're going to build into this gradually. So the first step is to let your shoulder blades relax down and you'll take your shoulders back a little and to tilt your chest up to the ceiling a little. And then I want you to bring that bar back. So this bar that's right up against the bottom of your ribs at the back, it prevents you leaning any further back. So all the movement, because of that bar, has to come from tilting the rib cage up and back. So the next step of tilting the rib cage is to think about the spot that's right between your shoulder blades, just above the bar. And I want you to press that spot forward as if you're trying to press it up through your chest to the ceiling. And then with that spot pressing forward and up, see if you can lengthen the front of your body by tilting your chest up further as you press your hips forward a little. So you're lengthening here. Now at that point you should have a reasonable stretch in your back. From there you can take your right hand and lift it up to the ceiling, keeping that lift in your chest, taking that arm up and back. And with your left hand you can just reach it back towards your left heel, which you might be able to find. Easing your hips forward, keeping your chest lifting up and back, keeping your right arm going up and back. Holding for one more breath. And then if you're looking up, just look forward. Bring your right arm down and lift yourself back up, releasing your heel. Then from here, if it's comfortable just to sit back on your heels to get a rest, do. If that's not comfortable, you might want to come into a child's pose. But do allow yourself to take a moment of rest. Then, if you're in child's pose, bring your hands under your shoulders, pressing in to lift yourself back up and come up ready to do the other side. So toes are tucked under, hands on hips. So only taking this as far as your back's comfortable. So you might just want to take the first step, which is shoulder blades relaxing back and down and chest tilting up. That might be far enough. If you want the next step, press that middle point right between your shoulder blades up through your chest towards the ceiling and lengthen the front of your body by lifting the bottom of your rib cage up and back as your hips ease forward a little. Then lift your left hand up towards the ceiling, taking it up and then taking it back and taking your right hand down to your right heel. Easing your hips forward so that you're going up and over that bar that's at the bottom of the back of your rib cage. Looking up towards the ceiling, hips forward, upper arm reaching up and back. Then to come out, looking forward and on an inhale, lifting back up Exhale, lowering your hand and sitting onto your heels or coming into child's pose for a moment's rest. So one of the good things about Ustrasana is it's very similar to when we take Cobra, except when we take Cobra, our back muscles are having to lift us. But because we're not lying forward on the ground, those muscles aren't having to work. So although we're not strengthening the back, it is giving us a good chance to bend the back, which is a big part of what we want to achieve with our back bends. So, coming into full Ustrasana, camel pose, come to standing on your knees. If your back, you will have a bit of ache in your back. If it's anything close to pain, then you might want to sit this out. Otherwise, if you want to come into full Ustrasana, taking your hands onto your lower back, palms flat against your back, fingertips point down towards the mat, bringing your elbows in. And as your elbows come in, you'll feel your chest move forward and lift a little. So make that stronger by letting your shoulder blades relax down, taking your shoulders back, tilting your chest up. So just looking up so your head stays in line with your spine. Then pressing the center of your shoulder blades up and forward as if pressing it through your chest to the ceiling, and lengthening the front of your body by tilting your rib cage up and easing your hips forward. So you're making yourself as long as you can at the front. Then from here, take one hand back and see if you can find a heel. Tuck your toes under if they're not already tucked under. If you find one heel, you might be able to take the other hand back and find the other. If you don't find your heels, you can have your hands reaching back, but not necessarily making a contact. Easing your hips forward, still lifting your chest up and back, now arching over that bar. Taking a couple more breaths there if you can. Then if you're looking up, look forward. Take one hand onto your lower back, followed by the other. On an inhale, sit up. And on an exhale, sit yourself back to your heels. Stretch your arms out in front. Keep your knees together for a moment and stretch yourself into child's pose. By keeping your knees together, you can round your back a little over your knees. So that's taking your back the other way to how Ustrasana's taken it. Relaxing your head, relaxing your hips. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders and coming up to hands and knees for some cat-cow. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. As you next inhale, tilt your tailbone up to the ceiling. Lift your head to look up to the ceiling and let the back of your waist dip down to the mat. As you exhale, tuck your tailbone under, arch your back up and tuck your head under. And then keep that movement going with your breath. As you inhale, tilt your tailbone up, lift your head, let your back of your waist relax. And as you exhale, tailbone lifts. Waist up, back arches up to the ceiling, head tucks under. So again, be really mindful of this, really feeling the effect of each movement through the body. Next time you're in cat's pose, hold it there. So your back's arching up, head and tailbone tucked under. Have a press into your hands, knees and feet, lifting your back a little higher to the ceiling. Really being that frightened cat. And then releasing. Sitting back onto your heels. Bringing your forehead down to the mat. And then choosing where you have your knees and where you have your hands. So if you want to have your knees open so that your chest can drift down between your legs, do. If you want to have your hands in front of you, behind you or on your lower back. Choose what's most comfortable and comforting for you. Two more breaths here, drifting a little closer to the ground with each exhale. Hands come under your shoulders. Press into your hands to lift your torso upright. Bringing your knees together if they were open, sitting on your heels. Only for a moment, because you're going to take your hips over to the right hand side. With your hips on the right hand side, bring your left foot over by your right knee so that you're coming ready for Ardha Matsyendrasana, so a full twist. If your left buttock isn't in reasonable contact with the ground, do stretch your right leg out so that your spine is straight. So you've got your buttocks close to the ground. Draw your left knee in towards you and bring your torso towards that knee, bringing your chest towards that knee. So you're sitting up fully straight. Then take your left hand behind you, pressing your left fingertips into the ground, keeping your chest drawing towards that knee. As you next inhale, lift your right arm up to the ceiling. Stretch as tall as you possibly can. Again, that's straightening the spine. As you next exhale, start taking your chest around to the left. As you do that, let your right arm come down so that your elbow can come against your knee. You can either keep your arm bent, or you can straighten your arm, or you could take a hug of that leg. Whatever feels the best for you. Taking your left shoulder back around a little more, looking over your left shoulder. And then using your breath as you inhale, press into your back hand to straighten. As you exhale, ease round a little more. If you've got your elbow against the knee, that does give you great power to twist. So with that comes responsibility. Only twist yourself round as far as your spine is comfortable to go. So you're not forcing yourself round. Maybe using your upper body strength as well as your right elbow to ease yourself around. One more breath there, a final ease to the right, to the left. On your next inhale, lift your right arm back up to the ceiling, untwist as you do so, exhale, lowering your right arm. So if you have got your knees bent, hold there. If you've got a leg straight, then swap your legs over. So if you have got your knees bent, take your hands over to your right side. So you need to keep your feet where they are and just rotate and twizzle around them. So lift your bum and just walk yourself around. Keep your feet where they are, all the way round, and sit yourself down, and you should be good to go on the other side. Making sure you've got contact with your right buttock and the ground. Drawing your knee in towards your chest, lifting your chest towards your knee. Take your right hand behind you, press your fingertips into the ground to straighten and lift. Next inhale, lift your left arm, growing tall. Keep that height in your body as you exhale, twisting to the right. As you twist, bring your arm down to hug the leg or to take your elbow against the leg. Taking your right shoulder back a little more, looking over your right shoulder with a level chin. And using your breath. Inhale, pressing into the backhand, straightening. Exhale, ease yourself round, using body strength and your left arm against your knee. One more breath. As you next inhale, lift your left arm to the ceiling as you untwist, and exhaling, lower your left arm down towards the ground. Uncrossing your legs, giving them a shake, and coming to standing. So what you should find is that cat-cow followed by the twist, will then release the back after doing a strong back bend like Ustrasana. So you might still have a little bit of residual sensation there, but I'm hoping that you feel like your back has now released. So for our standing postures, we're going to take a wide leg forward fold. So come to standing on your mat and taking your feet good and wide. Then just look down at your feet. They may well be pointing out to the front corners of your mat. So just bring them in a little bit so that they're more pointing forward, and so that the outside edges of your feet are more parallel with the edges of your mat. So as in a lot of standing postures, we want real strong strength down our legs. So firmly press your feet down into the ground, particularly the outer edges, and as you do that, you'll feel your knees come to the wall behind you a little, and that strengthens the legs. And then you could also strengthen them up towards your hips. So it's almost as if you're kind of lifting your kneecap a little bit with your upper leg muscles, so that you end up with these muscles pretty rock solid because they're fully engaged and switched on. With your hands on your hips, then lift your chest. Keep that strength and solidity in your legs. That's what's going to give you control. As you exhale, start hinging forward from your hips. So you're keeping your upper body straight, so that you're keeping your chest lifted, and you're just slowly hinging at your hips. Hinging and hinging and hinging until you can't go any further other than by letting your chest drop. Now we'll let the chest drop in a moment, but not quite yet. So with your hands on your hips, start to just press your sitting bones back and bring the crown of your head forward. So you're making your torso as long as you possibly can. So sitting bones back, crown of your head forward. You're looking directly down at the carpet. And then as you next exhale, just let your upper body relax down. So now your chest can relax down to the ground. The crown of your head can relax down towards the ground. Taking your hands either down to the ground if they will reach. If they don't reach, take a hold of the opposite elbow with the opposite hand. And then just use your exhale and gravity so that every time you breathe out, your upper body relaxes a little more towards the ground. If your hands are on the ground, you can see if you can bring them back so that they're between your feet, letting your elbows bend as you come lower. Keeping your feet active, so your feet are still pressing down, your upper leg muscles are still working. Taking 2 more good breaths, seeing if you can bring yourself a little lower with those 2 breaths. And if your hands are on the ground, just bring them underneath your shoulders. If you've got a hold of your elbows, then just release your elbows and let your hands come down towards the ground. Then with your feet firmly pressing down, just bring your heels in towards you just a little bit, so you come back to a more normal leg position. Then bring your hands onto your hips, and with a very big inhale, slowly bring yourself up in one move. Once you're lifted, heel toe your feet back together, and maybe take a bit of a shake of your legs. Prasarita Padottanasana, wide leg forward fold. We're going to finish with a balance, which is a forward fold balance that gives our Achilles a bit of a stretch as well as a bonus. So once again, feet hip distance, hands relaxing. We want our body strong to balance, but we also want it relaxed. So take 2 breaths where on your exhale you're just letting your body relax. So you're feeling your shoulders relax, almost feeling that relaxation going down to your feet. But as well as being relaxed, we want the body to be active. So also just take your shoulders up and back, a little lift of the chest, a press down into the feet, lifting the crown of your head to the ceiling. Taking your weight over onto the right foot, picking up the left foot, crossing it above your right ankle. Right, above the right knee. Did I say above the right ankle? Then letting your hands relax in front of you, and slow as you like, starting to hinge forward at your hips, allowing your fingertips to drift down towards the ground. When you've gone as far as you can, or your fingertips have touched the ground, whichever comes first, start to bend your standing knee. So make sure you're looking at the spot just a little bit in front of you on the floor. So you're bending your standing knee, sitting down into an imaginary chair, then bringing your hands to your heart center and just lifting your chest a little. Sitting down as deeply as you can, just being aware of your ankle, not going too far for your ankle. Nice. Just a little bit of controlled wobbling I can see, but it's very controlled. As you next inhale, slowly lift yourself back up. As you exhale, release your hands and release your foot, taking a shake of your right leg. Then back to standing with your feet hip distance apart, your hands relaxing, crown of your head lifting, shoulders easing back. Picking up your right foot, taking it above your right ankle, above your left knee. Hands relaxing in front, so don't rush from here, just to let your balance establish itself. Maybe now finding the spot on the floor just in front of you that's going to hold your gaze. When you're ready, starting to hinge forward. So your fingertips are drifting down towards the ground. Just coming as far down as you can. When you've done that, starting to bend the standing knee, sitting down into your imaginary chair and bringing your hands to your heart center, having a little lift of your chest there. So this is where your left Achilles gets its stretch, bit in your left glutes as well. Seeing if you can sit down any deeper. Beautiful. As you next inhale, slowly coming back up. And as you exhale, hands lower, foot lowers, shake of the left leg. And then, with that, our work is done. It's beautiful balancing, I see. So come to lying down, ready for some relaxation. Do put on anything warm, I think I can say that today. And do consider having something to rest your head on. Feet to the corners, hands away from the body, palms turned up, but adjust if you want to or need to. So you could have your knees bent. Or anything else, because only you can know what will allow you to be at your most rested and relaxed right now. Taking a brief scan down your body. So mentally checking in with your body, noticing anything that's left in your body from the stretches that we've done. So you might find somewhere there's some sensations that come from our stretches. So just noticing them, not judging them in any way as being good or bad, just noticing that they're there. And then knowing that I'll keep an eye on the time. You can just rest, relax, and let your body get on with benefiting from taking on board everything we've done in class today. And staying still for a few more moments. Gently become aware again that you're lying here on your mat. When you're ready, wriggling fingers and wriggling toes. Taking your arms up overhead, pressing your toes forwards as your hands gently stretch back. Releasing, bending your knees, bringing one knee then the other onto your chest. Arms can come over to hug your knees in. Take a rock, side to side. Bring that rock into a halt. Have a final stretch, lifting your head to your knees, taking your knees down towards your chest. So rolling up nice and tight. Then release. Feet land down, your head lands down. Bringing yourself from there to sitting, maybe coming by the right hand side just for a breath or two. It's wonderful to see everybody. Thank you for joining me. Thank you if you join me on the video as well. Namaste. Thank you.